Welcome to another interview here for Titan Esports. I have got the Divinity League, and I have got another top-tier team. In fact, the top-tier team in Group B, PF Enforcers. I've got Jaquail, and I've got Azar. He doesn't even know how to pronounce his name. We can get into that a little bit later. First off, thank you guys so much for joining me. And I'm going to start with you, Jaquail. I just kind of want to know about PF Enforcers, your involvement in it, how you got established within, this group, this organization, and what it means to you.
Well, the PF Enforcers, we work under Babo's team. She's formerly known as Lexi, Babo, Shawarma now. All the teams that are currently under management of myself under PF, they're all recruited through me, and there's really only one requirement, is that they have to be better than me at their respective lanes. I'm a gold player, fill player, and proud to say one of the only fill players that can say they play all roles. And if you main a lane, you have to be better than me at it. Izar does it perfectly. He was one of the very first members to join PF Enforcers.
That's great. And PF, of course, Piltover's finest, right?
Piltover's finest, yes.
Yeah, so that's very cool. Well, Izar, can you kind of give us a rundown on your history with this team and what it means to you?
Yeah. I tried out for this team as ADC, wasn't good enough, so tried out as mid. Turns out I'm better at mid. So yeah, that's kind of how I joined. He just took me off the streets and gave me content, and we did some tournaments, and yeah, it's been a good ride so far. Also, hard stuck gold as well. So I know Jaquel was about to say hard stuck, but it stopped himself.
No, we don't have to include that in the interview. We're all hard stuck somewhere, okay? We all get that. But it is cool that even though you say like hard stuck gold, right, or gold just for either of you, and that requirement, Jaquail, of having to just be better, it is nice that you have the opportunity to be part of leagues like this, right? I'll ask Jaquail first, of just having access to the Divinity League, having access to some extra content, maybe to where you guys can help promote yourselves.
Sorry, say that again.
So just like what is, I guess, it's kind of cool to have a league like this, right? What does a league like this offer a team like you where, a lot of people say, oh, gold teams, like what really can you do as a team? Like what does this esports org have to offer?
I think the biggest part about it is in all levels of all the games, there are people who, play for the fun, and people who play for the organization's aspect of it. Just having to have a more controlled environment, having to play the way you want to play with whichever tactics you come across. I think that's what makes these organized play much more enjoyable.
Good.
And much more exciting.
Yes, that's what we try to do, the excitement, right? And coverage on you guys. So, Izar, same question to you, but just, what do you personally, how do you feel about having the opportunity for a league like this and also the opportunity to grow from something?
Oh, I love it. It's very competitive, and, that sense of competition really pushes players to perform at their peak in that specific elo, and sometimes pushes you to perform better, to hopefully improve. And I think that this has been a fantastic time to really grind and try to put in the time to get better and, try to match that competition.
Absolutely. Well, you guys, in terms of matching competition, you've kind of been leading the competition, at least in your group and in this league here. So you guys are overall sitting at 4-0. The team that is in second place, they have one less win than you, but they have actually encountered a full loss. So let's kind of talk about first last week's games. Unfortunately, there's not a ton of info that we have for this league about last week's games, but you guys went up against Eden Snapdragons, and it was a pretty decisive 2-0. So I'll start here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start with Azar on this one because there was a little bit of extra information that I might have gotten that Jaquail can then divulge on what kind of happened with last week's games.
Oh my god, last week's first game was intense. We had a banger team fight, like, constantly happening throughout the entire game. Up until I believe it was the 37-minute mark where we had the fight for Soul, and I had the package. Package is basically guaranteed win team fight. Dude, it was like not guaranteed. Major had some pretty nice damage in that. Major is their mid laner. I was waiting for him to like throw down his stun. He held it for so long. I held package for so long. We barely won the team fight. And then afterwards, it was kind of an open base, but Jaquel thought, hey, this is our only streamed match. Like, winning a close team fight is fun, but like, holy shit, what if we just did a backdoor and just won through that way? Like, crazy.
That's it's funny because I'm friends with Yanni, who was the play-by-play caster on that one, and I was potentially going to fill in for him on that cast, and that night he's like, "Man, you missed a match." I'm like, "Hey, don't do that to me. I was gonna fill for you because you were feeling sick." So I felt bad that I got to miss it, but hopefully we'll get to watch that VOD soon. So Jaquel, can you kind of expand on that? So you guys really appreciate having this like this on-air, this stream time, right, and getting this exposure.
We do, yes, we do. It might sound cocky, but I really do think Enforcer is one of the strongest team that's playing in Divinity right now. I mean, verified by me. All the team fights, they're fun and all. Even from the drafting wise, we drafted Disengage Comp is what we excel in, and we kind of try to fought that out. Eden's actually did a good job in not engaging, which forced us to engage and made some misplays. All in all, as Izar said, team fights were close. We won, but it was our only streamed match that we were probably gonna have in a long time. So we planned on delaying it a little bit for the extra entertainment. Ended up being too close, and it drained a lot of us the first game. So the second game, although we couldn't show any more entertainment, we just had to end it early. Getting tired. So
Well, you guys did end it in a 2-0, right?
We did, yes.
It was. So at the end of the day, it does sound like, while it got dangerous, I mean, 37 minutes, if you're talking about that's where a pretty intense fight went, and then it didn't end at 37 minutes, then that definitely means there's a little bit of, scuffing your play. But it doesn't change the fact that you guys didn't lose out in a single game. However, I do have to bring up, because I was able to look at the stats from the week prior, I want to know what the heck happened. And I'll start with you, Jaquel, because you're the one that I'm a little concerned about on this. You guys went up against Troll Picks Only Goats. Now, this is a team that is in 8th place. They are 0-4 in their record. In terms of their game record, they are 2-8. So they have only won 2 games. One of those was against you guys, who are 8-2, and that alone is surprising. Obviously, you reverse swept that. You turned it around and played incredibly well the last 2 games. But can you tell me what happened with that first game, and maybe what was it that surprised you, or what took you guys at an advantage, I suppose, to lose that game 1?
The biggest weakness of the PF Enforcers is myself, because I'm a fill player. I don't have a mastery in any of the lanes specifically. And that comes with a little payment of lane acknowledgement. I don't know which champion counters which. Luckily, I'm pretty good with the tanks. So our tactics up until that point was, okay, just blind jack tank. He'll, just do tank, and we can do whatever, make some plays bot lane and bot lane scale. The only problem was, I thought Sion was blindable. And turns out he has a pretty good counter. I'm pretty sure, I think I had 2 fully charged Q landed that entire game. Because Aatrox has, how many CCs? 4 CCs? That was fun. So, blinding the top lane Sion and getting countered was fun. After that, we changed the tactic a little bit. I quickly searched up what champions counter his main. We opened up one of his mains, which turned out to be Ornn. And as a tank player, I have good knowledge of Ornn. So I was like, okay, so this is the champion I'm picking, and I'm gonna counter this guy, play like a top laner. It worked out that way. Ever since then, no more blinding top lane. Obviously, we fixed that problem, and much more diverse gameplays. It allowed for a much more diverse gameplay planning for our drafter Rimhang, and PF as a general.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I mean, you recovered, you turned it around really well. I mean, when you just look at the scores there, right, on that Sion, it wasn't great. You went 1-7-1, right? And then the next game you turned it around and you put the opposing Ornn at 1-7-1. So, you brought out the Aurelia, you brought out the Olaf, so maybe more of those damage dealers. But that's very cool. It's a really cool aspect of your team that, you are that Phil. And I like the fact that you acknowledge everybody in the team has to be better than me. Therefore, the weakest link is me, right? But you have to feel good about that in terms of the team that you're running there. Because Azar, I gotta say, the thing I'm most surprised about with you actually is that this Corki has not been consistently banned away from you. What is the deal with that? Is that going to happen?
Yeah, so it's kind of a weird scenario because I'm typically trying to prioritize Syndra, but she's been banned so often that I had to find a new champion. So I decided to pick up Corki again because I used to play like a lot of Corki, a lot of Azir, and Azir I don't know, I too washed up on that champion right now.
It's not as good right now.
Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of why I picked up the Corki. I felt it really like complemented our team style, big time with that package that you get every couple of minutes. But yeah, that defeat that Jakul was talking about, Measurable kind of yelled at us and in voice comms after the game because he's like, "Why are you putting Azar on utility mid?" And I'm just like, "But Seraphine's OP."
Right. You did all right, I
Yeah.
think it was like a 2-2 game for you, right?
Yeah. We just we close our eyes on this whiffed ult.
Speaking of Measurable, sorry, I have to chime in for a little bit. He's actually joining in our next week as he's our team captain. He was supposed to lead the team. Unfortunately, he was a washed-up player. He needed to play 300 ranked games. He has planned that out. Now he's joining. Now we have a team captain.
That's
Excellent.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. So if any enemy teams out there are watching this, make sure to ban him out and not me.
Oh, I guess that's something to look forward to. Maybe the Corki then isn't on the ban list, I suppose.
Izar has 4 extremely threatening champions, and they can't ban them all out. Yeah, they can't ban them all out.
That's a good point. The first ban phase is only 3, so there's always one to come through. But that's, that's cool because that also shows, just talking about these adjustments, right? That shows a lot of like flexibility and willingness to change and adjust with the team itself. So Jaquail, is that just because you guys are trying to like find stability within the organization, or is this something where just individuals are hitting their own landmarks before they really fully participate, or what's kind of the deal behind the growth?
So, from the beginning, Izar and Measurable was in a team that I was managing beforehand, and I wasn't part of that. And I saw how they functioned a little bit and put them together, matched a few things, did a little bit of VOD reviews and changing a little bit. All in all, in the beginning, I was being too nice. With me joining the team, a little bit of toxicity and change of playstyle with a little bit of yelling in the background. Fit the mold quite well, and they're quite nice about it too. They had a very nice awakening.
Well, that's good. I like to see, that's one of the main things that I am focusing on, right? Especially with these lower league teams, right, is just growth. And I think that that's something that we've seen a lot of, but at the same time, there's a lot of consistency within you guys. So just touching away actually from the teams themselves, I want to ask you guys about yourselves a little bit more. Let's talk about summoner names. We'll start with Izar. Again, you don't even know how to pronounce it. Where'd you come up with this? And can you explain to me how you don't know how to say your own name?
Well, it's a take on my last name, and I literally lived the first couple of years of my life like never asking, and it just came to the point where I just felt like if I asked, like it would be kind of weird. And
It's
like
just
my
getting
parents,
so much denser.
yeah, it's been too long, so I'm just like, you know what, people just like try it, give it a shot, and I'll say, yeah, that's the way it's pronounced.
Yeah, I'm never confident when I'm like, oh, do you say your name? Is it Izar? And they say, yeah, that works. I'm like, okay, but that's not what I asked. And you are genuinely the first person. Okay, so you don't know how to properly pronounce your last name?
I do not.
All right, I just had to clarify that. All right, Jaquail, please settle me a little bit. What is your summoner name all about?
Actually, I have a similar problem with Izar. So my name wasn't. It wasn't meant to be pronounced. It wasn't meant to be pronounced. So,
Oh, words are hard for gamers.
It originates from my first name, which is Jeffrey. That's where I get the whole J going on from. And I was just looking around some unique names because in games, all the good names are things are just already taken, right? So I'm looking for something that's unique, that looks nice, and it doesn't. See, the sound wasn't even part of the thought process. So I was looking through J's and then animals. I started with J, and Jackal was one of those, like the one Anubis and Nasus originates from. So I wanted to name Jackal, but they already took it, of course. So I was just looking through names that could possibly sound like Jackal, and there it is. It's Jaquail
Okay.
with the Q and the ALE.
Oh, all right. You know what? Okay, so that makes all right.
Right.
That at least calms me a little bit. Like, you know, there's some meaning behind that. So it is, you know, when you were doing it, it was a jackal. Like that
Right.
was the goal. Okay, cool. Well, now I know. So if I get to cast you, I can say your name right, and I will say Azar's name different every single time. But no, that's really cool. I like to hear kind of the history of you guys as players. And just out of curiosity for both of you, Jaquel, how long have you been working with PF Enforcers? And then I'll skip over to Azar to find the same question.
PF Enforcer has been almost about a year working with them. I've played in about 2-3 teams so far as a starter. Of course, all as a different positions. And one of the team that I'm most fond of actually has my perfect ideal way of running the game. They have a extremely unique tactic that they use, which was before TP was one of the tactics we loved to use before. I would run no flash for con with TP as a support, TP ignite or TP exhaust.
Yeah.
I would get a first blood, get a lead in the bot lane, and then immediately TP top lane and get our top lane carry feed some kills. Riot saw that, nerfed it. Now I can't do that anymore. So instead, I go top lane and TP as soon as the dragon spawns and do a team fight there. Miss about 3 waves and lose top lane and let Isaac carry the entire game. So yeah, I like these weird tactics that doesn't work on solo duo, that works on PF Enforcers and the team that I draft myself, and it builds into working well.
That's
how it's been working
great.
so far. Yeah.
I love that. And that's fun. You know what? That's not just fun for you guys playing. That's fun for the viewers. That's fun for the casters. That's fun for the producers, right? So we always like to have that bit of entertainment thrown in. And hopefully people don't feel like they can't talk about that. You know, I'm sure when I'm like asking you, did you extend the game? A lot of tournaments, a lot of groups, they're like, no, don't talk about that, right? You're not supposed to. We're all here to have fun, right? I think at the end of the day. So it's cool that you guys understand that and that you guys are having fun and also rocking it at the top of the standings. And talking about the top of the standings, let's discuss your guys' next matchup. You are playing up against the number 2 team. And their standings, their statistics aren't nearly as good as yours, but I think it's going to be eclipsing tides you guys are facing next week. So, Jaquel, I'll start with you again. How are you feeling about that matchup? Is there anything you're excited about?
Actually, is it okay if I let Isaac go here first? I
Yeah,
think
absolutely,
he's
go for
got
it.
a good insight on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, Eclipsing Tides has been a pretty solid team, like, so far. I've been kind of peeping at their games. They have a really solid champ list, so it's going to be a rough draft compared to other teams, I think. And I think from their perspective, it's going to be a rough time drafting against us as well. So
Yeah.
just from a draft perspective, it's going to be kind of nutty, let alone in-game. I think it's going to be very team fight oriented. I'm not sure if there's going to be a lot of lane dominance, so it might be some early team fighting that's going to be deciding some of these games. Or who knows, maybe we'll just get some hour-long bangers, so that's what I'm hoping for.
I don't know. We can expect that kind of stuff from you, I guess. That's a possibility. All right. Jaquel, do you want to answer that, or do you want to just tell me whether it's going to be a 2-0 sweep or not?
It's going to be a 2-0 sweep.
Oh, hell yeah.
So far, the only losses we have was solely due to me and Izar. My problem's already fixed.
Whoa.
My problem's already fixed.
Whoa.
Now, the other loss we have, I say it's Izar's fault, but he wasn't. Nobody was really focusing when we were doing drafting. We asked who he wants as to pick. He mumbled a little bit, said Kassadin. We picked Kassadin. Turns out he wanted the Kassadin banned and picked something else. We lost because of drafting, we'll say, but it was Izar.
I'm going to give it some... Oh, go ahead.
With that being said, with all the respect to all the other teammates, we didn't have very much trouble in terms of winning so far. I'm extremely confident that we can make it a 2-0 sweep if we all focus and draft properly.
No Cassidy.
No cap.
I'm gonna shed
rebuttal.
a little light.
Izar, rebuttal.
Yeah, I think I need to shed some light here. I said very clearly, pick me Malzahar, ban Kassadin. They picked me Kassadin, so I had to go to the store and buy the damn champion.
No, are you serious? This is the problem with pro draft, folks. Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's definitely not what you wanted to do. Okay, so that explains. So you guys' 2 losses were flukes. We'll call them.
Internal
flukes.
mess ups.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, a little bit of hemorrhage here and there.
All right, but confidence going forward. So Izar, can you confirm you think it's going to be a 2-0 sweep?
Yes.
All right, I love it. I love to hear the confidence. That's all I want to get. And a lot of these teams are like, oh no, it'll be 2-1. They're pretty good. I don't want that. I want to hear that you're gonna kick their asses. You know what I'm saying?
We're gonna kick their asses. It's gonna be a
There we
2-0
go.
clean sweep.
Excellent.
Thank you, Remake,
All
for
right.
drafting.
Well, I think that just about does it talking with you guys. This has been an absolute pleasure. Of course, the Divinity League is going to be casted. I don't think we're going to be able to see you guys on the stream, unfortunately, but whichever teams, those are going to be casted by them and Dawes. And of course, we've got the articles that come out for the Divinity League. It's a little less frequently, so maybe a little bit later in the week, but keep an eye out for all those cool stats, and then you get to see all the breakdowns that I have been talking about with these 2 players. And of course, tuning in just with the Titan Esports information so you can see all the broadcasts and opportunities if anybody else wants to partake in here. So thank you so very much for helping us out here. And top 2 teams. Oh, you know what? If there is a possibility, top 2 teams are being streamed. So if somebody wants to stream these top 2 teams, reach out to the Enforcers, reach out to Eclipsing Tides. That would be super cool.
Actually, before we go, Eclipse is actually streaming. Eclipse will be
Excellent.
streaming the game.
Perfect.
You can reach out to them and get the links. And one more thing before we go, PF Enforcers, we're pretty new. We're always looking for good players. You just have to be better than me, and you're in. Look for that.
Awesome. There you go. I guess that's the test for you. All right. Before I let you guys go, I'm going to offer you, I'll start with you, Izar. Is there anyone you wanted to shout out? Anyone you want to thank before I let you head out?
Yeah, shout out to Measurable at twitch.tv something measurable 1. There's a 1 instead of an L at the end. What?
He's the team
Alright.
captain that's joining us.
There you go. And same to you, Jaquel. Anybody you want to shout out that you haven't already?
Thank you for Espada, who's been subbing in for our team captain, who's had to grind 300 ranked games. He is he's a top lane main, and he's been extremely excelling at bot lane. So I'm very proud that he's doing so well, and we'll hope to play with him in some of the playoff games as well. We'll schedule that in. Thank you, Espada.
Awesome. I'm really excited to see what else we have coming through from you guys. Until then, though, thank you so much for joining me. Good luck on your next games.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.